And I believe we are ready for our next guest, who comes to our Wise Guys studio from a world away, literally a world away. She's a graduate of BYU-Pathway Worldwide, a living witness as to how this program is changing lives for the better. It's our pleasure to welcome Grace Ninsiima from Uganda, who is now famous because we watched you on TV over the weekend, both on BYU TV and KSL TV. Welcome to our program.
Thank you, Dave. And Blaine, thank you.
Can we call you Amazing Grace? Because that's what Dave and I, we feel like you're amazing when we want to call you Amazing Grace. Is that okay?
That's very kind. Many of my friends call me Amazing Grace.
Oh, they do?
Yes.
Well, we'd like to be considered a couple of your friends. If someone would have told you when you were 18 years old that a few years from then you'd be sitting here with us in Provo, Utah, doing what you're doing, what would you have said?
I would have said that's impossible. Cannot happen. Yeah, that I would never have believed that I would be where I am today if it hadn't been for BYU Pathway. So BYU Pathway is making dreams realities for all of us in Africa.
How valuable has education been to your life?
Education, well, it's relative because in Africa there's education for sure. But we find that the education that we've gotten, it hasn't helped us to get jobs. And that doesn't change our lives. And I'm telling you the truth when I say that my education, the moment I started the certificate, because with BYU Pathway, it's a certificate first approach. Mm-hmm. So you get first certificate, first year, second certificate, associates for the second year, until you're complete. So the first time I got my first certificate, I got many job offers and interviews to, start working. And I felt that that was very valuable, that a certificate alone can get you somewhere, even for job offers. So I believe that with quality education, lives can be changed.
We saw in the documentary over the weekend, Pathway to Hope, with our friend Jane Clayson Johnson. A pathway to hope often means somebody's coming from desperate conditions. And after your father died, you were forced into an abusive marriage as a teenager. How desperate were you to find something better?
Thank you. That's a good question. Thinking about it, at that time, I felt that, you know yourself and what you're capable of. And as they told us in General Conference, that we are sons and daughters of our Savior, of our Heavenly Father. And so I knew that I had something in me. I could feel that I had much more to me than that box that I was put in because of my marriage. And I remember just wishing that anybody could just see what I was capable of. And I know President Monson taught that we should always see people for what they're capable of more than for just seeing their face value. Yeah. And so I always wished for an opportunity to prove that I could do something. And it's through a BYU Pathway that opportunity came to me, even after going through so much.
If people that are out there around the world that are listening to the podcast or are with us on a live stream tonight, if you haven't seen this documentary that our friend Jane put together, you need to watch it. It's gripping, it's compelling, it's amazing. You had to escape from this abusive marriage. Literally had to take your 4 daughters and get out of there. What were the conditions like for you as you escaped? And how did you live? How did you find food?
It was hard because when I left my marriage, I had nowhere to go. But the best place I could go to was that house that you saw, the one that had a leaking roof and stuff. But I thought it was much better to stay in that place than be in an abusive marriage. But the thing is, we didn't have food and we didn't have running water and we didn't have medication. And the best place I could find food was that forest behind that house. And that's how I tried to manage life with my girls. But the most powerful force in this universe, I could say, is hope. Hope is such a powerful force that it can change life forever. I know that there's an experiment that was carried out back in 1950s. It's called the Experiment of Hope. And Dr. Card Dr. Card and his researchers from Harvard, they did an experiment with rats, and they put them in, tins or tanks of water. And these rats, they let them run for like a few minutes. And after maybe an average of 15 minutes, those rats would give up because of fatigue. And they would take them out and care for them and warm them and love them and give them food. And then after a while, they'd put them back. And when they put them back, these rats that had taken 15 minutes and had given up and were dying, they would run. Do you know for how long they would run? They would run for 60 hours after that. And so that experiment, when I remember it, it teaches me that we have so much capability to endure, even more than we know. And, it was hard, but, the Lord always has a plan. And just like we've read in the scriptures, I will consecrate thy afflictions for thy gain. This is exactly like you asked me in the beginning. How do you feel that you're here in Utah, in the U.S.? I feel that the Lord had been preparing me to be here and to help other people in the same situations that I was in.
So after you escape and you're trying to survive, here come the missionaries for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. What was your first impression when you met them?
They were very friendly young men, and I felt sorry for them, actually. I thought, these young men are so lost. They want to teach me about Jesus Christ, but I don't think they're doing the right thing, because I was in a setting where I thought I knew Christ. And I thought I'll invite them over and teach them about Christ. But then it turned out when they told me about the plan of salvation, I was very intrigued and curious. And when I read the Book of Mormon that night, I felt like the gospel had found me, because it felt like I'd been waiting my whole life to find the restored gospel. And I knew with all my heart that the Book of Mormon was true.
That's really interesting. You were in a really tough situation, but when you saw them, you felt sorry for them, because you thought they don't have the truth. I have the truth, until you actually invited them in. Yes,
I felt like that. And it's amazing what's happening with the youth of our days, because I love the missionaries and what they're doing, and not just the full-time missionaries, also the service missionaries. BYU-Pathway works with service missionaries, and they're doing such wonderful work, just reaching out to the one. And I really respect these wonderful missionaries, just like you saw in the documentary. Yeah. There's this wonderful missionary that's caring and loving on these students. And she too has her own circumstances. It's not easy, but she just goes out of her way to be Christ-like and to love. And that's really what stands out for me.
BYU-Pathway Worldwide graduate Grace Ninsiima from Uganda is on the Wise Guys, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. After joining the church, the bishop calls you in and introduces you to BYU-Pathway Worldwide. What did you think?
I was mesmerized, because the gathering seemed like a safe space. It seemed like a space where it was intriguing what they were learning. It felt like they were learning soft skills, and I felt, I could do more of this. So I joined the bishop, actually, that very gathering. I joined first, and we participated, even though I wasn't a student then. But the following week, I asked him, can I please enroll to join BYU Pathway? And I think that's the best decision I'd made in a very long time. And I began to study, and I had no idea that my life was about to change. Yeah.
In the documentary, you talk about you're raising your 4 daughters. You were working 2 jobs. One, I think you mentioned you were spending 3 hours a day on. The other job you were spending 8 hours a day on.
Yes.
So that's a lot of hours. How did you find time to continue your education through Pathway and get this done with all of that on your plate?
Yeah, well, you see, when you are in a situation where you have nothing and you're looking for opportunity to work, you will do everything in your power to use every chance you have to provide for your family and to earn. And this is what's happening in Africa. People work more than 80 hours a day, 80 hours a week, and they're underpaid or even sometimes never paid. And so just having a job that pays you is a luxury. So having 2 jobs for me, even though it was hard, it required a lot of sacrifice for me. I felt I was very privileged. And in my church, in my branch, when I had these 2 jobs, I was like the queen of my branch.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So just they knew that I was making money because I had these 2 jobs. And so I had to do it because I knew where I was coming from and I wasn't going back there anytime soon. So I had to make the best of it. And I tried to do, when I do something, I want to do it either 100% or I don't do it. And so I feel that my bosses, with the reports they gave, I think I tried to do a good job.
So you do it and then you graduate. So what were those feelings like on graduation day last April when you were here in Salt Lake and received your degree in communications?
I was ecstatic. It was a dream of mine to walk commencement. I mean, who would have thought that Grace Ninsiima would be walking commencement at Ensign College? So I just felt so much gratitude. I know that we've gone through school because someone has given of the resource of, they've donated to BYU Pathway, either with their time or with their money. And I really deeply felt so much gratitude in that moment for people that have accepted to be instruments in the Lord's hands, to give their all to see us through school, because I never paid a single coin. I paid for the first term because I was just joining, but for the rest of the time, we had scholarships. We had missionaries who would say, I'm going to pay for your term. And of course, that's not what they're supposed to do, but they do it because they want to, and they know the objective of this work. And really the vision of BYU Pathway is to create disciples in their homes, in their communities, and in their nations. And I think they strive to see how they can help us become those people, disciples of Jesus Christ now in our homes. So I was just full of gratitude to be there. And I wished I could just shout out and say, thank you, everyone. But I get to do that now. So I just want to thank everyone that gives for the education of students across the world.
After working remotely for a venture capital firm based here in the United States, you're now employed as, I want to make sure I get the title, Africa Central Area Manager for BYU Pathway Worldwide.
Yes.
That's really cool. We have a link that we're going to put in our chat to your LinkedIn page where folks can reach you. How's it going? How's the new job going?
Oh, it's awesome. More than a job, it's like a calling. And I always tell people that, hey, if I was told to do this job without pay, I would do it. And please, Brother Todd, don't fire me after I say that.
Dave, by the way, Dave and I say that all the time about our jobs broadcasting. And then we go, we can't say that.
It's never worked out for us.
It's never worked out. So we like to get paid. So we get it.
Okay. Yeah, I like to get paid too.
Sure.
So, but I enjoy because I get to watch firsthand how the program is changing lives in Africa. And I've seen how a mother can, at one time a mother came up to me and said, I just wanted to see who is running this program because my son has been an addict for many years. And I've tried to counsel him. I've taken him to rehab. I've tried to take him to church. He never changed. But now he does homework with his siblings. And now he's more active at home and more respectful. And I thought she was beginning to see that change in this student life because this student now had hope. He had a job and he had an education that he was looking forward to completing. And so more than anything, it's changing students' lives and affecting national economies and leadership patterns in Africa.
So from your personal experience, and we'll wrap up here, and we sure love having you visit with us. From your personal experience, what has BYU Pathway done for your life? What are your conditions like now? What's the future like for your daughters, which were driving forces in you making some tough choices at a young age?
Yeah, my kids have seen how we've struggled because they were they did know what we were going through. And they've seen how we've transitioned from having nothing to eat to what we have now. I think we're in a better place, I must say. But the thing that stands out the most to me is how they've grown spiritually because they've seen how my testimony in Jesus Christ has increased and how I feel that nothing can faze me at this point because the Lord has proved he's proved that there's nothing impossible for him. So my kids have grown spiritually, and I feel that they're in a better place. And, I just wish they could learn to trust more on the Savior as they grow older. And I hope they can pick lessons from this experience.
Life tends to get us all to that point. As we get older, we rely on him more. But we have to have good examples, and you are a great example to them.
Thank you. You're so kind.
So now what are you going to do?
Yeah, what's up?
When you leave this show, what's going on?
Now?
Oh, the future. I will continue working for BYU-Pathway as long as they'll have me. And, I'm in my heart, I think education is something that's going to change the narrative for Africa. So in my small world, I try to implement that with other people that I work with. So I'll just try to help as much as I can and inspire more people to get involved in BYU Pathway, because this is a mighty miracle that is happening right before our eyes. And I know that people will begin to realize the impact that the program can have, and they'll continue to support it in the near future.
Well, Michael on our live stream says, you are amazing, Grace. So nice job.
Thank you, Michael.
It's great to have you here. Again, the documentary Pathway to Hope's available. You can watch it anytime on BYUtv.org, and you can get more information about BYU Pathway Worldwide at BYUPathway.edu. Will you come back on the show again the next time you're in the neighborhood? Because I know you're heading back home, right?
Yes.
Hey, and we might have to just check in with you. Our podcast and our live streams all over the world. We're in Japan tonight. Sometimes we're on 5 continents, and we bring people in remote. So we might have to check back with you, and you can from home. You can
Zoom with us.
Come on the show.
Yes, thank you so much.
It'd be great.
I'd love to.
We're proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Amazing Grace.
All right. Thank you for being on our show tonight and on our live stream. We love those nice comments about what Grace has done with her life. And the nature of this show is you can just get up and walk right off.
Just a live stream. Thank you so much,
all
Grace.
the pressure has come to an end.
Wait, did you feel pressure? I hope it didn't feel like pressure.
Good. Awesome.
Good.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank you, Blaine.
That's fantastic. Again, BYUPathway.edu. And I watched that documentary. It was great. Jane Clayson Johnson's a friend of both of ours, and she did an awesome job. And you can see it again on BYUtv.org.